I have had so many people doubt me. Not in the YouTube comments here, obviously people have been a little bit more understanding to the logic that I've laid out, but on Twitter, on TikTok, etc. Everybody's saying, oh, Doublelift has only played Zeri. You're basically overrating him. He's not really that good. Wait until he gets taken off Zeri and gets put on an actual champ. As if we didn't have, 8 years of damn experience of watching him win games in the LCS to know that that will still be perfectly fine. And what do you know it was? Now, granted, none of us, I don't think, thought that Doublelift would come back and be in this good of form early. Even I didn't. I thought it would take a little bit more time for him to warm up. Even he said that himself. He was warning us and prepping us for those expectations. And then you got what happened yesterday. It was a slaughter.
Now they're going to chase him down. Pioshik wants it. Harry has nobody to body block. Ace in the hole takes him down. Doublelift's going to grab another triple kill. Is it a quadra kill for Doublelift? He just tears through him.
I want to talk so much about our game versus FlyQuest today, and I will do that via the two games that we saw from yesterday from FlyQuest and obviously 100 Thieves. Let's start with 100 Thieves. Going lane by lane. Top lane, Tenacity, once again on the Jax, which he has shown that he can play at a decently high level. Had the solo kill on Summit, which at first, well, I guess at first I thought it was really good, but now looking back on it, Summit's not in the best form, so I don't know if that's the ultimate test of his skill. But then again, he was already close with a player like Fudge, who is clearly by far and away one of the best top laners in the LCS, alongside Impact, who we'll get to a little bit later today, which is scary. But nevertheless, Tenacity is playing decently well. His engages are a little bit too early in some of these mid to late game team fights. There's a little bit of miscommunication, miscoordination between him and the team, but I like the proactivity of him going in, of him trying to bait out these situations. I'd rather him mess it up and go a little bit too early now and have these kinks worked out early than have to wait until it's crunch time and see where it goes from there. And Tenacity will tell you himself, he is a little bit nervous still on the stage.
Feeling good. I solo killed him and I just ran him down the whole game, so stuff to still work on. I was very nervous in that series, but I think I'm conquering it a bit. The solo kill gave me a bit of ego, so yeah, just a work in progress. A muscle you have to train, right? So
in jungle, Closer's just been a rock. He hasn't had to play any of these champions where he's solo carrying the game, even though we tried that against D9 on the Viego pick. Wasn't the biggest fan of it, but now that he's playing the Sejuani, being the frontline tank, he's just doing a phenomenal job at it. I still have faith whenever the meta changes and we get more champions like Lee Sin and some of the engagers that he will be fine. He's already shown a high level of competency with that champion versus any other jungler in the LCS, so I think we're still fine. But he's just playing solid overall. There's really not too much to note other than he's engaging at the right points, getting pressure in lanes early on in 2 straight games now. He is helping Bjergsen get ahead in the right moments, sometimes fail flashing, but that's beside the point. As for Bjergsen himself, looking good. There haven't been many plays where it's 5-man shuffle from Azir or Victor just deleting an enemy off the map. It's not that, but his zoning is so good. Actually, I take that back. No, he had a moment yesterday in the game where Talia just popped somebody over a wall and solo won us the team fight.
Let's just running away from everybody else. Tenacity wants to chase him. The Weavers won't. Harry, but now they've already popped the enemy mid laner. That's huge.
So yeah, he's actually playing really, really well, which again goes to show that on TL there just seemed to be this fundamental difference in how to play the game between him and Core JJ. And now that you got to play against Team Liquid, I'm sure that win feels really goddamn good for Bjergsen to show, maybe I wasn't the problem, as he goes, I think, deathless on Talia. Pretty damn good. Busio, I know people were going to look at the 2 deaths, one early on from being too pushed up in the lane with the Varus Caitlyn, and then the second being when he disrespected the Maokai by autoing him to give him vision, which allowed Maokai to come over and 4 people wiped, even though Tenacity would clean up that fight. I'm still loving how he played it. He was still doing a good bit of damage in the later parts of the team fights, despite having some of those hiccups early. It's showing utility and usage from champions like Varus, when a lot of LCS supports just simply would fall off the face of the map, would play too passive, wouldn't do anything. He's still being aggro, being up in people's faces, dealing damage, helping out, allowing Doublelift's Caitlyn to just come in, hit the headshots, wipe people off the map. It's really good to see, and he's playing a ton of different champions. We haven't seen his Zoe yet, which I'm waiting to see at some point. He plays a decent Camille support too, and he hasn't even played the engaged champions at all yet, which he'll be fine on. We just had to give it time. Plus, he's got, imagine him plus Doublelift on engage. Oh, it's going to be interesting. Doublelift himself. Obviously, we have to talk about it. I don't want to blow too much smoke up his ass, given that there's already enough dick riders in the community to do so, but it's, people need to give him the amount of respect that he has earned over the course of 8 years in this league. I get he retired on a note where he arguably wasn't the best LCS ADC that we had, and obviously Worlds put a tainted image in a lot of people's minds for him, but he is undeniably a top ADC in the LCS. Him versus Prince is going to be an absolute masterclass between two ADCs that are good in lane of understanding pressure, understanding the ebb and flow, but also just positioning, team fighting, and getting out damage. This should be one of the best bot lane matchups we're going to have. And I cannot wait to see it today, because FlyQuest looks stupidly good. Their draft yesterday, where they saw the Jace get locked in by either Someday or Jojo Pune, depending on who's going to take it, and the immediate counter to the Scion, and just being willing to play these picks that are not fully meta. They are somewhat counters, but like nobody's going to think, oh, they're going to pull out Scion here. Being willing to do that, and then having the faith in Prince to just carry games and get double-digit kills in games, and then Vikla, a little bit hit or miss here and there, but overall, Spica's playing well. Impact's playing incredibly well right now. Vikla, hit or miss. Prince, incredible. Winsome is the only question mark, but it's like, if 100 Thieves wins this matchup, then I think a lot of people are going to be like, okay, we need to see it with Ayla in here as well, because Ayla is like legitimately going to be one of the top 3 supports in the LCS when he finally arrives, and it sucks that it's taking this long. But if FlyQuest wins this one and Ayla's still not here, it's like, oh, what is their ceiling? They're so stupidly good. Jumping back to the TL 100 Thieves game very quickly, not even the game itself, but more the rivalry. I had people question why I consider 100 Thieves and TL to be the best modern rivalry in the LCS. At least, obviously, I'm a little bit biased, and I can't, like, TL is the match that every time we play them, I just put it on the calendar, and it's like, I do not want to lose to them. Because for those that don't know the history, 100 Thieves in their first split in the LCS make it to finals in 2018, only to get absolutely blasted by TL. TL beginning their legacy run in the LCS, winning 4 titles in a row, while 100 Thieves, even though after that point kind of fell off until the end parts of 2020 and 2021, where things really started to recover with the FBI roster coming in, there's just been this underlying feud. TL fans have wanted to pummel 100 Thieves fans for a while because they just see us as this clout-chasing hoodie org, for lack of a better term. And it's fair to a certain extent. 100 Thieves is the most popular, or like highest clout-chasing org outside of maybe FaZe Clan in existence in esports right now, and people are jealous of that, because by all means, TL has unbelievable clothing lines, and I'm not going to deny that, but it's overshadowed by every time the 100 Thieves drop something. Like, anytime 100 Thieves drops an apparel line, it's just end all be all. Everybody wants to be there. We want it. We got to have it. The big names like Scooter Braum being on the board, Drake coming in, you had Ariana Grande and Courage doing an interaction together. It's like, you have Kid Leroy. Now, there's these intangible things that Team Liquid just cannot reproduce. No matter how much money they have, they cannot do some of the things that 100 Thieves is doing. And there is this ping of jealousy within fans of 100 Thieves. And then for 100 Thieves, we looked at TL for years and just like, dude, they win fucking everything. Like, can we just get one, please? Like, just one. And we finally got it. And even better by beating TL to do it. And it felt so good. Like, the first moment that I realized that, okay, FBI and Huhi were the real deal was when we were playing against Team Liquid because the game meant so much. It was Core JJ and Tactical who was performing well at the time, and we pulled out, I think it was Rel Vayne, and it was like, oh, we're actually going to challenge it, and we pulled off the win, and then you could just tell there was this little bit of shift in the narrative, and people were like, oh, 100 Thieves might be the real deal, even if they don't end up beating like Team Liquid long term here, and Team Liquid ends up winning out. Like, there's a spark here, and it's gonna be interesting. And you know what? That's been around, and it felt the same going into this match. And there were a lot of people on the TL subreddit yesterday that were pissed that they lost to us. Whether you want to admit it or not, like, this is a rivalry built out of mutual respect for each other, because we respect TL for how much they've done in terms of winning, their success across multiple esports, and how much they've helped the esports scene grow. 100 Thieves has very much done the same thing, so it's built out of respect of like, okay, you guys have done great there, but there's just this underlying bad blood between fans that it's like you don't want to lose to the one other org that's actually rising very well. It is in a way similar to TSMC9, but a little less like, I don't know, those two fandoms just freaking hate each other. I don't hate TL fans, and by all means, I'm collaborating with the org in 2 weeks for a watch party. But, like, there's this underlying tone of, if there's any team that I don't want to lose to in the LCS, it is Team Liquid. I don't want Steve getting that satisfaction. And I'm all for this rivalry continuing until the end of time. To wrap this all up, because I can't even see the timer how long this has been going, we now have FlyQuest versus 100 Thieves today, which has the potential to be the best matchup of the spring split. Because Cloud9, when they played FlyQuest, just got absolutely destroyed. And I'm curious to know if that was a one-off thing, or if we are truly at the level where we can now compete with FlyQuest. Have we progressed enough that quickly to the point where we are on their level? Because they are the golden standard. And I wouldn't be shocked if we get crushed. I really wouldn't. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's actually going to be really close, and I think it's going to be a toss-up, all things considered. Tenacity has to hold his own versus Impact, because Impact could take over this game at a moment's notice. I think Bjergsen will be able to nullify Vikla decently well. Closer and Speaker are on very similar levels and have been for a few years now. Prince versus Doublelift is an incredible matchup. Like, I cannot wait to see this. And then Busio versus Winsome, I would actually give to Busio at the moment. So I think there is a very realistic chance that this is a close game that you have to keep an eye on. Obviously, I'm going to go with my heart and go with 100 Thieves, but I just want a good game regardless. I am so excited for this, and I hope you all are too, and I will record this video after the game at the bar tonight. So here we go. Fingers crossed.